Hi, it's Terry. I have been maintaining 180-pound weight loss with low-carb, low-calorie, meat-focused eating since August of 2022.
Good morning. We are going to start off this upcoming week with what I'm calling a GI reset. That's what I'm calling it for me, to see if it helps with whatever is going on. So I'm starting off. This is 1.5 pound. Hang on, let me show you. It's bloody, so I'm not. Okay, it is 4.5 pounds of the 93% ground beef. I gotta set this down in here because it's gross. Hang on. So I put one in. This is 3 packages of that meat. I use crock pot liners because for me, they save a lot of time on the tail end of things. I know some people are like, but that's plastic. Well, yeah, but they're designed to be slow cooker liners. So they're designed to be cooked in. So I use them. It's BPA free. So whatever it is the plastic people, plastic police don't like about them, I don't care. They work for me. They help me with my cleanup. I go through so much dishes and cleaning and cooking stuff while I'm cooking on my meal prep day. I don't want to take the time to clean. I know, whatever. Anyway, so this is my meal prep. You leave it out if you don't want to use these. That's okay. We all got to do our own thing. So again, this is my version of what I'm doing to help my whatever is going on with me. So this is just plain water. I usually bring it up to almost covering the meat. There we go. Hopefully you can see that. I'll do it in this one. I don't have to do quite as much for the chicken. Let me add some more. Okay. Yeah, I don't usually have to do as much for the chicken. The chicken tends to already be very watery as it is. So it kind of doesn't take as much water on that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover these and we're going to put them on low and they will cook. Everything will cook for about 3 to 4 hours. That's what I'll say. Somewhere between 3 to 4 hours. I put the temperature on low, low, and low. And so now these crock pots are going to be going for 3 to 4 hours. I know some people say, well, why don't you cook over a stove? I don't want to cook this much meat standing over a hot stove. I do bulk meal prep. I ain't got time to be standing over a hot thing and do these batches on top of all the other things I'm about to do for this. So you cook yours over a hot stove all you want to. That's not my jam. So these are lined up. Every hour we will come in and chop it up, and I'll show you that when I do it. I didn't even know if I told you all what was in this third one down here. But so we have, I know I told y'all it's in here. We have, this is 3 packages of the 4.5 pounds of 93% ground beef. Now I come in here every hour and carefully, I just chop it up. Because otherwise it's just one big meatloaf, and maybe that's okay, but I like my ground beef to be like all chopped apart. So it's just easier. And when it's the leaner meat, if you come in every hour, it's easier to keep it chopped up. The fatty meat, it's really easy to chop up. But the lean meat, because it's so dense from no fat, if you don't, it really becomes a super hard clump. And I like the texture of ground beef, unless I'm not using ground beef. So if I'm wanting steak or something, I'm good with that. I'm good with the texture of it being all packed together. But when I make ground beef, I want it to be ground up. So I come in every hour and chop it up. Let's see. So there's that one. And I know some people have said, well, that sure is a lot of work. Well, so is standing over a hot skillet to cook. What do I have? I have 16 pounds of ground beef. 4, 8, 12, 16. So 17, 18 pounds of ground beef. So you think this is a lot of work? Try standing over a stove and cooking 16 pounds of ground beef. All I'm doing is coming in, spending 2 minutes chopping up my ground beef, and then going off to play my video game for the next hour. So this is a lot less hands-on. I don't remember if I said this or not, so I'm repeating myself, sorry. You do have to be careful. If you chop too hard and scrape the edges, it does tear the plastic. And sometimes I do it on accident, which it's not bad, but the point is, the meat, especially the leaner meat, really adheres to the edges, and so I prefer it to adhere to the plastic that I'm not having to scrub later. So we've got this going. I need to get 2 of these things sometime. I only have 1, and so when I didn't know if I told you all, this is ground chicken over here on the side. I'm going to see if I have something else I can chop that up with. Yeah, here. Just so I don't necessarily mix the two. This is just ground chicken. Let's get you closer here. This is just ground chicken. This is 3 of the 1 pound packs. I have 3 more. So in the end, we are going to have 6 pounds of the ground chicken. And that I'll be cooking, and I'll do the other 3 exactly the same way I'm doing this one. So there we go. And I'll just set that there, enough there. So I'll have 6 pounds of the ground chicken, and I'll have 18 pounds of the ground beef. So now they're going to sit here for another hour. I could either start cooking steaks if I wanted to. I could start cooking burgers if I wanted to. I've got an hour of doing absolutely nothing by spending those 2 minutes coming and chopping these up. So I'll be back. So now it's been another hour, I think. I don't know what I set it for, because when I just asked her how much time was left, she said I had 1 hour and 6 minutes. So I think I might have accidentally said 2 hours whenever I set my timer, but that's all right. Good thing I checked on it. So now what I do is I pull it away from the outer edges, because it gets done faster on the outer edges. Also, you'll see I do not season my meat. Reason being is I change up my meal. Like sometime I might want it Italian. Sometime I might want it Southwestern. I just never know how I'm going to want it. So if I don't season it, then I have that option. Also, the water that we add and the little bit of rendered fat from this meat really is good for a broth. So oftentimes I will strain, I always strain off the liquid, but then you can turn around and use that broth for anything else. You got really good beef broth that you can use in the future. And it's not tainted with seasonings. Also, when I do high fatty meat, I keep the fat and I make dog treats out of it. But we will not have enough fat to do that today. We will just have enough, it'll just be broth today. And I've got so much broth in my freezer, I probably won't save it. I might save the chicken. I'm not really sure about that. So, all right. So anyway, we're going to do our chicken here. Get this chopped up. But you can do the same thing with the chicken. You can save that and have chicken broth and use it later. So, and it's really, really good because, it's just been literally soaking in chicken for the past 4 hours. So it's definitely a good flavored chicken broth. But you can salt it. You could do all kinds of seasonings. But for the record, if you want to see how I use my ground meat, follow along during the week time videos. because I post a video every day of my meals. And so while I'm doing this GI reset, you'll be able to see what it is I'm doing, because I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to do yet, but each day is going to be an adventure, because I don't know what's going to work and what's going to not work and what's going to make it feel better. So I'm going to just trial and error a lot of things, but I know we're going to have the base is going to be lean meats. So, all right. All right, we for sure did 1 hour, so I'll see you in 1 hour. Hang on, I'll move this. It's starting to cook really good. I probably could go on and serve this, and I just, pack it up. You can see it's pink. It's not gummy. There's a difference in the meat when it's not cooked and pink, and when it is cooked and pink. So there's no gumminess to this. It's a solid texture. So I'm going to chop all these up, and then I'm going to kind of get some space, and then we will work on the ground beef. Let me do this other one, and then we'll check the chicken. Hang on. So also for the ground meat, I don't mind that the liquid is pink or that the meat is pink. I take it to work, and it gets microwaved and heated up. So by leaving it just a little on the pink side, it keeps it from being so hard and well done. So, but you see, I've come in every hour, and this is what I like. I like mine to be still textured and not one big clump. So, all right, now let's go to the chicken. All right, let's take a look at the chicken. The chicken I do want done. So if it doesn't look like it's done, then I will not do it. What I think I'm going to do is leave the chicken on low while I'm finishing up, the 2 ground beefs while I get those served up. And then after that, I will be able to, after I do that, then this will be better, a little further along. So let's figure out how we're going to process. Let's figure out how we're going to process these, and I'll be right back. This part is usually a little tricky. I'm going to take this and pour it into here, and I usually do make a mess. So let me scoop my seasonings back. I do make a mess, and that's okay, It's all right. So I'm going to pick this out, and I'm going to pour this into there. I may be blocking your view, but I can't help it. Yeah, let me do this. Hopefully you can see that. I'm just going to go on and... Alright. That's as much as I can get in that moment. So let me scoop that back. Now I'm going to pull this baggie out. And just carefully bring it over to here. Pour the rest of this in here. Oh... We almost did have a mess. Alright, now. So because I was gentle with my chopping up the meat, you can look into that, and there's just a little sweat down in there, and that's it. So I'm going to get the other ground beef going in here, and then we'll work on the side and process this. So let me get that going. I'll be right back. Okay, so now we've got that there and that there. There's still, the liquid is in the bottom of this colander. So I'm going to put this colander into the sink for a minute and dump this liquid into this bowl for a while. That way, whenever I do the next meat, because when I set this in here, this is too narrow compared to this bottom one. So I'll show you. See all the liquid that was just hanging out the bottom. There's been lots of times where I have rinsed my meat with water just to get out any excess fat. And usually it's for, if I'm doing something for a specific reason, I'll do things for it. So I'm going to set that in here while I slide this over and set this in my sink for a minute. I'm hoping that all of this liquid will fit into here. Again, I'm probably going to make a bigger mess than it's worth, but I need this in a minute, so might as well do it now. Not too bad. Not too bad of a mess. A lot less than usual. Again, I use a lot of dishes on the weekend, so yeah, that's why I really work hard to use plastic containers and stuff. But I don't put plastic container in these. I'm not going to do it in every little thing. So now I can set this off to the side, and actually I can put this in the refrigerator, and if I wanted to, that teeny tiny little 1/4 of an inch will turn into a fat cap if I so choose. But I don't have a reason to use it, so more than likely, like I said, I've got tons of broth in my freezer right now, so more than likely, I will just put this in something and freeze it, and then on trash day, I will set this out into the trash like that morning. I'll toss it out while it's still frozen and take it right on out to the trash can. But anyway, so I'm going to put that in the refrigerator. Okay, so in trying to figure out the math, each crock pot had 4.5 plus another 2 1/4. So 4, 5, 6, we're just going to say 7. So we're going to say there was around 7 pounds. So that's 16 ounces. So Ziggy, 16 times 7.
16 times 7 is 112.
Ziggy, 112 divided by 13.
12 divided by 13 is approximately 0.9.
Ziggy, 112 divided by 13.
112 divided by 13 is approximately 8.615.
Okay, and I'm saying 8 or 13. So my thought, I wanted 14 ounces, but that's 14 ounces of raw ground beef, not cooked ground beef. And so I'm going to lower my 14 to 13 because now that it's cooked, I should do less. So we're going to do around 8-ounce servings. And we're going to see how that goes. I mean, 13-ounce servings. We're going to try and see how many we get. And then in the end, we can always rearrange and do whatever we think. There's 12. So hey, if you're low carb, got a new use for your pasta scooper. All right, so we're going to try for 13 ounces. All right, 13 ounces. And we're going to see how many containers we get of 13 ounces. So I'll do another one. I got these nifty little Ziploc bag holders from Lori and Leah. And so I'm just going to scoop it out and put them in. In theory, you wait until your ground beef has cooled off. That's the right thing to do. I'm going to tell you what I did. But that's the right thing to do. So for you plastic people, assume that or for you anti-plastic people, assume that I let these cool all the way. All right. Oop, wait, no, that's 12.9. 13. Alright, so that's 2. So I'm going to go through, I've got 8 of these, and we'll see how many we get at 13 ounces, and I'll be back with you. Well, in order to get 8, they had to be 9.5 ounces in the end. So they're 9.5 ounces. I know I could do them more, but, I don't, this ground beef is expensive. So I'll do 9 ounces and 9.5 ounces. I'm going to do that with the other one, and we'll see how many we get. So like I said, I wanted to get 8 servings out of both. So now I pull them off the stand and I just close them up. Pull them off the stand and close them up. I have several that are in the freezer already from last weekend or last meal prep, but they're in 7-ounce servings. So when I pull them out, I'll have to measure them, or I might just label these 9.5 so then I know what these are. So now I'm just going to pull these off and get them closed up, and I'll do the other one, and I'll show you all of the ground beef when those are done and when this one's done over here. Okay, so I've rinsed it, or I've drained this, and the excess water and render fat is in this bowl. I'm going to put this one in the refrigerator too. So again, just so you see where we're at, I'll go ahead and do 9.5 ounces in each of these. And I may still be hungry when I have them. I may be like, man, I need more than that. And that's okay. I can defrost more if I need to. You know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to get these bagged up at a level that then I can handle and I can process and figure out how I feel. So it's okay if you don't prep enough in your meals. You can always use one, because I keep 4 days defrosting at the same time. So like today's I may be eating, but tomorrow's is probably mostly defrosted as well. So if I feel like this is not enough, once I start, then I can go ahead and adjust as needed. So I just want to kind of let you know. And anyway, so that's what I'm doing. So I'm going to finish these last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then, like I said, then we're going to we'll process our ground chicken, and then, like I said, then I've got this other thing of ground beef going, and then we'll do 3 more of the chickens after the chicken's done. So yeah, I'll show you how I'm going to do the chicken. It's the exact same way I'm doing the beef. So I'll show you that when we get there. Okay, so I used a smaller bowl for this one. So now this is the chicken one, and I'm going to go ahead and set this in the fridge. I'm going to add a little less water. I went ahead and added the other 3 to this one. I'm going to add a little less water to it, and then maybe it'll all fit into this glass dish. So hang on. There we go. We're just going to go that route. So got this on low. So now I've got this 3 pounds of chicken going, and I've got my 4.5 pounds of ground beef going. I'm going to put this chicken broth in the refrigerator. And like I said, this can be used in so many ways if you don't have a bunch already in your freezer. I don't know how many things we're going to get. I'm going to do this just like the other with the beef and try to get 9.5 ounces for a serving. This is what I do not like about chicken, is that chicken has a lot of water in it. So when you cook chicken, you lose a lot of that original weight. So this was 3.5 pounds or 3 pounds. So let's see how many 9.5 servings or 9.5 ounce servings I get. Like I said, I've even done I did a thing before comparing the different like percentages of meat and how much you lose after you cook it. And so I've done that before. I don't know where that video is. I really need to do it again one of these days. But anyway, so yeah, we're not going to get a whole lot out of the chicken. 9.5. So we got 3 of them, and we're going to get a partial. And I bet this partial is not even going to be half the amount. So what I'll do with this partial is set it in the refrigerator. And then whenever the other one is done, yeah, that's not even 3 ounces. Whenever the other one is done, we will, man, gosh dog, that's aggravating. I really want to get more out of this chicken. And we're going to be having other things with it. So I'm going to go ahead and make this average out to spread it into 4 containers. because I'm going to be hacked off if I only have 3 servings out of 1 pound, or 3 servings out of 3 pounds. So I'm going to go ahead and spread it out into these 4, and I'll be back. We got 4 8-ounce servings. So we cooked 3 pounds, which is 16 ounces per pound. Ziggy, 16 times 3.
16 times 3 is 48.
So we cooked 48 ounces, and we got 3 8-ounce, or 4 8-ounce. Ziggy, 8 times 4. 20.
8 times 4 is 32.
32. So, yeah. So we lost a whole lot with chicken. And anyway, it is what it is. So I'm not going to put the weight on the, well, I will. They're 8. So that lets future Terri know. And if I find that I'm super hungry, I will figure out what else I will add to these. You know, I may have to make more veggies. I honestly don't know what, I don't really know. I don't know what I'm going to do. We're just cooking it. And like I said, you're going to have to watch my future videos to see how I use all the things. Hey, I figure I better let you know. It's not that I don't wash my crock pots after I'm done cooking, because I've got the one that is all done in here, and I have my strainer in here. It's just that when I don't use the liners, it adheres, and I have to really scrub and scrub. It's really bad with meat, especially the leaner meats. So the liners keep it from adhering to the edges of the crock pot. So I can rinse them out, throw them in, and then they can be washed. So it's not that I don't wash them. I wash them in my kitchen, in my dishwasher. It's just I'm not going to scrub them and take that 20 minutes to scrub them in order to put them in here. But that's all right if you want to. That's okay. All right, I'll see you when the rest of it's done. Next up, I already have one done, but I double line these pans. These are full sheet cake pans. They do not fit in my dishwasher unless I pull out all the things, and it takes a lot of room. And so I just double line these. I think some people are not big on foil, and that's okay. If you don't like foil, you can definitely do them your way. So I'm going to double line this. You know, it's funny, there's so many different ways to do things, and so I just show you my way, and if you have your own way of doing it, that is awesome. We all kind of got to do what's best for us and our needs. I do have people ask me all the time, Terri, what about the plastics, and what about the metals, and blah, 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 and you know, like I said, everybody's kind of got their own needs. I grew up in the generation, we had asbestos in our ceilings. We had, you know, we drank from rusty metal water hoses. So, you know, if lining with foil every couple weeks is the thing that takes me out, then so be it. That's just not top of my list. But I know it's top of the list for a lot of people. And that's okay. I appreciate that. So you all do what's best for you. But yeah, I'm not so worried about plastic and foil. Here's something funny. I bet some of y'all are saying, it's the plastic and foil that got you that stomach and problem in the first place. Very well could be. Very well could be. I buy these burgers. They are 100% pure beef burgers, 85% lean, 15% fat. And so these are what I use for my breakfast. So we're going to spread these out, and I put 12 in each container. I actually bought these originally because for making these. Because I can fit all 12 in here, but I cannot fit all 12 in the next size down. Sometimes you'll find papers not between them. And sometimes even if there is a paper, they stick. You just got to whack them real good. So here's this one. See, like here's 2 without paper. Just hit them. I used to get all serious and would get a knife. But I found that just whacking them separates them better than a knife does. Because you know me and the knife, I kind of scare myself sometimes. I definitely scare editing, Terry. I know I scare y'all. Hang on. Sometimes I've hit them so hard I broke them in half, but that's all right. Half of a burger tastes just as good as a whole burger as long as you put the two halves together. So I line them up three across. But then you have 4 rows. So 4 rows of 3 is how I do mine. And I try not to let them overlap too much. But like I said, you see how big these are. That's why I have to use this big cookie sheet pan. Not cookie sheet, full sheet cake pan. This was a sheet cake pan. So, alrighty. And they kind of hang out just a little bit over the top. But as they cook down, they shrink up, so it's alright. I do hope you're having a good Saturday. This is my Saturday. I'm in between cooking and stuff. I run into the living room and I play some of my video game that I'm playing right now. It's a game I've played over and over. I think it came out in 2015, 2017, somewhere in that time frame. But and then they've made since then they've made a part 2. But sometimes I just like going back and playing the original. So, all right. Well, as soon as this beeps to say it's 400 degrees, I'm going to put these in for 30 minutes. So I'll be back. Also, you can salt or season your burgers. I don't, because I kind of like them bland most mornings. Well, sometimes I put a little salt on them. But right now, they're so dry, you can put seasoning on them. It ain't going to stay. So, all right, we're going to go ahead and put them in for 30 minutes. And then we will come out. We'll rotate them or flip them and then rotate shells for 10 more minutes. And there they are, ready to go. Okay, so it has been 30 minutes. And now we just go through and flip them over. You see how much they shrink? But that's because, they lose their juices and the fat down. And so there's usually a lot of liquid left when they're done. And so typically I actually leave them in this pan after they're cooked to let them reabsorb some of the juices. Heck, if the calories and stuff are figured based on how much they are when they're raw, might as well get all of that 15% fat. If you're going to have to count it, might as well get it. It doesn't work with the ground beef though. It only works with this. But I ain't patting out a bunch of burgers, so with the ground beef, it's just going to be how it's going to be. So, all right, this one was on the bottom shelf. So I'm going to put this now on the top shelf and those on the bottom shelf. And we will give them 10 more minutes. So it's been 10 more minutes. And now I'm just going to let these burgers sit for about 10 minutes. And then we'll come back. We're going to let them reabsorb some of the juice and let it reabsorb some of that fat too. So hang on. Well, in 10 minutes, but it'll be just a jiffy for you. So this, you can see there's just not a lot of liquid left. It's absorbed. But what I'm doing is I'm transferring them over to this one. So then that gives me space to work. And while I'm doing it, I'm just breaking these burgers in half. They're not perfectly halved, but that's all right. Now, what I have done in the past is ran some water in this and then used, the fatty for stuff. I ain't going through all that today. We already got enough going on. So we're just going to pull this out and toss it, but not right now. I'll do that later, off screen. So in my original plan, I was going to do 1 burger, but I'm going to do 1.5 burgers. Since the ground beef and the ground chicken is a lot less in ounces than what I originally thought it was going to be. I will make up for it with my breakfast. And as far as calories go. So I'm going to go ahead and get these put in here in these Ziploc bags. And there'll be 18 when I'm done. By the way, these sat longer than the time that I said. I think it's been 20 minutes. But that was because meal prep day, Terry wanted to eat lunch. So my lunch, I ate lunch and then came back. So it absorbed even extra of the moisture. Yum, yum, yum. So, alright, I'm going to finish this up and I will be back with you guys. So see all this liquid, the fat, rendered fat that's at the bottom of this and liquid. This, like I said, you could go through and pour this out in a container and all this can separate and you can use this. You can put this back in with any meat you want. You can do whatever you want to with this, but just so you know, it does generate a lot of broke off meat and fat. I just wanted to share that with you. Alright, so we've got these all sealed up. Let me tell you, these burgers ended up being $4.50 a pound, whereas the ground beef was $5.50 a pound. So, I don't know, it might be worth it for future, Terry, if I do this, or, you know, depending on what I do, it might be worth it to just get burgers, because I can season those up how I want to. I don't know what I'll do, but $1 less for 85% ground beef, and I don't know how much. Let me look and see. I don't think you can buy a great big thing of the 85%. Let me look and see what our Walmart has. So 1 pound is like $5.97 of the 85% in the ground beef form. So I don't know. I might look into doing burgers like in multiple steps and having burgers, because you know these are a lot more juicy, and I don't know, we'll see what I do in the future, but I know what I'm doing today. So alright, I'm gonna get these put in the freezer, but these will be my breakfast. I got 18 breakfasts out of them. Okay, from left to right, we have 18 breakfasts with 1.5 burgers. We have 21 meals of 9.5 ounces of ground beef. We have ended up with 8 meals of chicken. There are 8 ounces of chicken, and then we ended up with three. Let's come down here. Sorry, 3 beef broths and 1 chicken broth. So that's what we got. So 21. So 29 lunches and suppers and 18 breakfasts. Now just remember I'm going to be having vegetables with these. So had I went with just meat, I could have done larger portions. But the ground beefs, it was about $100, because I think they're about $25 a pack. So $100 for 21 meals. So it's pretty pricey by doing the 93%. Knowing what I know now, I don't know. I mean, I'll use the stuff that I have in my freezer and stuff, but I might go with something a little leaner than 93%. But, you know, this is for a GI reset for myself. So this is my own thing. This is not something that somebody told me I should do. This is just something I'm trying to help alleviate the symptoms. But, yeah, so 29 meals. So let's see, that's about 15 days worth of meals, right? 2 meals a day, yeah. So 2 weeks of 2 weeks of lunch, suppers, and 18 days. So 2 weeks of breakfast down there, and then all this lovely broth that could be whatever you imagine it could be. So, all right. Well, that's our meat portion of the meal prep today.